Hello, welcome to Bob's Dungeon. My name is Bob, I'll be your host. In the old world of darkness, we all know there were vampires and werewolves and other creatures of the night running around, but they also had mages running around in the game Mage the Ascension. And Mage the Ascension does have a pretty nice sized fan base, even to this day. I'm not really one of them. I think I played Mage the Ascension twice, and I ran it once. I just didn't care for it. It just didn't resonate with me like some of the other games in the World of Darkness lines. One of my pitfalls for it was the way Magic was handling it, but that's just me probably. Anyway, White Wolf ended the World of Darkness, and Mage the Ascension was no more, like all the other games in the World of Darkness. But then, sometime after that, they came out with a new World of Darkness, and they reintroduced mages into that game. And that's what we're going to talk about in this video. Mage the Awakening. This book has 396 pages and a copyright of 2005. It was published by White Wolf Publishing, and all of the artwork in this book is in black and white. It's pretty good. So let's go ahead and look at that artwork. All of the artwork in this book is in black and white. And it's pretty decent with a full page print at the beginning of each chapter. And it does a good job letting you know that this is a book about mages. It also sets a proper tone and mood for this book. And we even found Otho from Beetlejuice to see what he's up to now. To play this game, what you're going to need is, of course, a copy of this book and a copy of the core rule book for the World of Darkness. You also want as many 10-sided dice as you can get your hands on. Now, I'm not going to go into too many of the rules mechanics for the game, because I went over that when I did a video on the World of Darkness. But we are going to talk about the character generation. And the way that works is you generate your character using the rules in this book, and then overlay a template from this book to turn your character into a mage. And to get going, you want to figure up your attributes first. You have 3 categories of attributes. They are your mental category, your physical, and your social. Each of these are broken up into smaller portions, giving you 9 total attributes. You have intelligence, wits, resolve, strength, dexterity, stamina, presence, manipulation, and composure. Each of these attributes have a ranking of 1 to 5. You'll get 1 free dot to put in each of them, which won't cost you anything. And a dot in these attributes represents the number of dice that you'll roll when you make a test using that attribute. You'll then pick a priority category, and either your mental, your physical, or your social, whichever is most important to your character, will get 5 extra dots to split up amongst the 3 attributes. Your next most important will get 4 extra dots, and your least most important will get 3. You'll then want to figure up your skills. Like attributes, skills are broken up into 3 categories: mental skills, physical skills, and social skills. Each of these have a number of skills under them, but there are less skills than what you would find in the old World of Darkness. They've condensed down a lot. But again, these skills will rank from 0 to 5 dots. You get no free dots in any of your skills. You'll then pick a priority category, either your mental, your physical, or your social. Your most important category will get 11 dots to split up amongst the skills. Your next most important will get 7, and your least most important will get 4. You'll then pick 3 specialties. After that, you'll want to pick a path. And the path really tells you what type of mage you are, kind of what you're tied to. It gives you perks for what you are, what you get. And the paths are the Acanthos, the Mastigos, the Moros, the Abromos, and the Thyrsus. After that, you'll pick an order. And an order is a group that you belong to. And the orders are the Antientium Arrow, the Free Council, the Guardians of the Veil, the Mysterium, and the Silver Ladder. After that, you'll want to figure up your Arcana. Your Arcana are pretty much your magic abilities. And there's a bunch of them. And for your first pick, you'll get 2 dots to place in there. Your second Arcana, you get 2 dots to put in there. And your third, you'll get 1 dot. You'll also get 1 extra dot to put in a random one that you want. And 2 of your Arcanas that you get have to be from your path's ruling Arcana. Because each path has 2 ruling Arcana for it, which is, they'll get bonuses for using those. And they also have an inferior path, in which they'll get negatives for when they use, which is kind of nifty. It's something they really didn't have in the old one. But then you want to figure up your health, and your health is equal to your stamina plus your size. Your size will be size 5. All adult humans are size 5. If you're playing a child, you might have a lower size, or if you have a special merit, you might have a larger size. You'll then figure up your willpower, which is your resolve and your composure added together. You'll then figure up your defense, which is the lower of your dexterity or your wits. Your initiative is equal to your dexterity plus your composure. Your speed is equal to strength plus your dexterity plus 5. Your starting wisdom is 7. Wisdom is pretty much like humanity from Vampire. It tells you how far up and down you've gone over the mage's category of sins that they have. You then start with 1 point in Gnosis, and Gnosis is kind of like blood potency from Vampire, or primal urge from Werewolf. It tells you how powerful your mage is, and it ranks from 1 to 10. And the higher up it goes, the more mana you can store in your body, and the more mana you can spend per round, and the greater the spells you can cast. You also start with the mana pool equal to your wisdom. And that's pretty much it for character creation. You get 7 dots for merits, and the merits can be found in the World of Darkness book, and they also have some special merits pertaining just to mages in this book. And you also get 6 rote spells, 6 points for rote spells, and it's a point per level of the highest Arcana used in the rote spell. And we'll talk about rote spells in a minute. Magic in this book, it does a good job, a lot of detail going into the magic system in this book. And that's what makes up most of this book, is the magic. I'm not going to go too in depth because I don't want to sound too confusing about it. But basically, you have 2 types of spells you can cast. There are the rote spells, which are spells that are tried and true and been kind of added upon and refined over the years. And with these spells, you get bonuses to cast, and you also don't have to spend any mana to cast them. Then you have improvised spells. Improvised spells are spells that you come up with on the spot and use. And with those, they're more difficult to cast, and it also costs mana to cast. Your mana can be spent to cast improvised spells, be used to turn damage to aggravated damage, and do a few more things. It tells you in the book what all you can do with mana. But you want to be careful when you cast your spells, like in the old game. If you do something that's considered vulgar, that goes against the defined norm, then you create paradox, and that can really, really hurt you. So you want to pay attention to that. You want to try to make your spells be as coincidental as possible. But there's a lot of rules in here telling you how to create your own spells and so forth. And they do a good job at fleshing out exactly what each of the arcanas can do. With the spheres in the old Mage Ascension, it was a little vague. I mean, it gave you some examples, but it was pretty vague, in my opinion. But they do a good job of fleshing it out in this book and tell you how to create your own spells and how you'll gain more rotes and stuff. So that's pretty cool. It also has a section here detailing some antagonists that you can take your mages up against, such as the Mad and some demons and some spirits that you'll go up against. And it devotes some time telling you how to set a proper mood and theme for this game, and gives you a bit of the mage history, how they're tied to Atlantis and a bunch of other stuff. And it's also got 2 appendices in the back. And the first appendix has a list of legacies that your character can join once they reach certain points in their character development. The legacies presented in this book are the Orphans of Proteus, the Perfected Adept, the Subtle Ones, the Uncrowned Kings, the Walker in the Mist, the Accursed, and my personal favorite, the Tremere Lich. For those of you that want to know what happened to the Tremere between Masquerade and Requiem, they're in here. The second appendix in the back details a setting and an adventure that you can use for your game, which is set in Boston, which is pretty cool. And it's also got a blank character sheet in the back that you can photocopy and use, which is also useful. But it has all you need to get going in a Mage the Awakening game. Which brings me to 3 questions. Would I play a character in this game? For the most part, probably not. Unless I had someone that was really wanting to run it, I might. Would I run this game? And if I could find a group that would want to play it real bad, I probably would. I've ran it once for like 2 or 3 sessions, but I was never a really big fan of Mage the Ascension. Meh on Mage the Awaken. They just don't do much for me. Would I recommend this book? And if you are really into Mage and want to see how Mage transferred into the New World of Darkness, then yeah, I'd seriously suggest you check it out, because personally I think that Mage the Awaken did a far better job with everything than Mage the Ascension, but that's just my personal opinion. Otherwise, you could pretty much skip this one. So thank you for joining me at a look at this book, and hopefully you'll join me next time where we'll talk about something else. Bye.